How do you run business meetings that are memorable and productive at the same time? I'm going to tell you how in this short video. How many of us have been to meetings many years ago that we still remember today? Yet, how many of us remember meetings that happened an hour ago that we cannot even summarize to anyone else? The ultimate goal of business meetings is to stimulate accountability from your team members, from your meeting members and participants for what they've done previously, for what they're going to do, so that they're clear on what their roles are. And secondly, it's to change behavior. The goal of any meeting in any industry, for any agenda item that you have, is to change behavior. So you, your team, are able to implement new processes, are implementing growth in the long term, not just performance as an episode. So I'm not going to bore you with the requirements of all meetings, which is, of course, to plan, to have agenda items, to have meeting minutes. No. What I'm going to tell you is 5 characteristics of meetings that you need to consider in order to make them memorable and in order to make them productive. Why? Because you want your team members to be clear on what they need to do after the meeting. So that if someone else outside of your team were to ask them, they're quickly able to recap or tell them that one takeaway at least from that meeting. So, the first characteristic is continuity. All business meetings have to have continuity. Whether or not they are standalone one-time meetings or recurring meetings in a series, they need to have some kind of visual in the minds of those people who are attending your meeting so that they can visualize how one meeting relates to the next, to the previous, which will allow them to prioritize, to make that meeting. They're going to be that much more likely to be present at your meeting. If there is only a one-time meeting, and let's say that you do not reach an agreement, you don't have a collaboration with the other person, it has to have continuity to such a degree that the dialogue that takes place in that meeting may lead to another potential collaboration or some other meeting in the future for a different agenda item, for a different topic. So continuity is very important, number 1. Number 2, relevance. You need to make sure that the right people are in the room or are present on your WebEx, on your Zoom call. The meeting has to be relevant to the people attending. The people have to have relevant input, relevant contributions. One way you can do that is prepare before meeting or have the meeting members review one item together. Give them an assignment. That will increase the relevance and also the efficiency of that meeting. Now, from time to time, you're always going to have some bystander or some kind of guest at your meeting that may not be relevant, and that may be okay because they can take the outcome of that meeting or the process or some of the action items from the meeting to their own respective department, their own function, and they can help their function grow as well. But normally you want the meeting to be as dense with relevance and with the relevant people as possible in order to be efficient. Now, third and very important is real-time action, right? Action. That has to be real time. That has to take place during the meeting. Don't confuse it with action items, which are also important. But some of the most memorable meetings that I've been to have been ones where you had participation, real-time participation from everyone, or from at least most of the meeting participants. Those are the kinds of meetings I still remember today. Real-time participation allows your meeting participants and members of your team, your organization, to feel like their voice is being heard, like they're contributing to your meeting and to the decision that's taking place. And if there is at least one action that takes place live and in real time, or one decision that's being made live, then those people who are attending feel like that meeting is important. They're going to look forward to coming to future meetings. One such example may be you have been making some progress, some small steps incrementally over your previous meetings, but you haven't completed that task. It's a spreadsheet, it's a document where you're trying to assign different activities to different members of your team for an upcoming event. You notice that you have 20 minutes remaining in your meeting. What you can do at that time is you can make a decision and announce to the team, hey guys, in the last 20 minutes that we have remaining, why don't we just go over the spreadsheet live on our WebEx or at this meeting and just assign some of the activities to each other. That way we complete this task at this meeting. That's going to be memorable. That's going to be key for your meetings in the future. The fourth point you have to keep in mind is dialogue. Again, real-time dialogue. You want to have an exchange, a free flow of information between the members of your meeting, between your teammates, between the meeting sponsor, the meeting requester, or the host, and the rest of the team. And you want it to be natural, genuine. You want it to be safe, because dialogue is the first step to creating relationships. Relationships, in turn, create impact and leadership and influence. So, I completely understand the dilemma with dialogue, because you want to present data. You want to have somebody present new data or update on the progress, right? A meeting host may have some very important presentation to share with the team. But without feedback, without real-time feedback and real-time dialogue or reactions to that presentation, that meeting loses value. That presentation loses value. And you delay that feedback to the next meeting, to the next meeting. Because the problem with many meetings is that we table very important meetings to the next time. So, you want to have dialogue that is professional as well. Now, because we know that dialogue can take many different turns. So, because you need to make sure that the dialogue that takes place is professional, is respectful, you have to have a meeting host and a moderator. A moderator who doesn't just keep track of time. So it's not a timekeeper that you need to have in your meetings, but you need to have a moderator who's fully supportive, 100% supportive of the goals of the meeting, of the format and the flow of the meeting, of the host. That doesn't mean that moderator must agree with the host or with the meeting sponsor 100% of the time. No, disagreement is healthy. Conflict and debate is very healthy, as long as it is professional. But it becomes a responsibility of at least the moderator and the host, the meeting sponsor, to call out dialogue that takes the wrong turn and to stop it in its tracks. If you notice somebody bullying someone else, being disrespectful, being disagreeable, where it's not just a disagreement, but it's also disrespect or a lack of respect towards anyone else in the team, even if one person may misinterpret a comment in that dialogue, then the moderator needs to say, guys, that's not the appropriate way to speak. Let's maybe rephrase that, and let's keep focus on what we're actually trying to do here in this meeting. This is very important, this fourth point, dialogue. Because dialogue ultimately leads to a culture that is healthy, the culture of your team, culture of your meetings. We spend so much time in our business meetings that they define and they represent the culture of our company. So what you need to do is you need to have at least one or two people that are responsible for moderating the meeting. We're much too often concerned with the time. We're much too often concerned with limiting ourselves during meetings. However, some of the most memorable meetings are those that have run over their time, yet ones in which we have accomplished something, right? And where we felt like we contributed to it. At work, in life, we want to be recognized for our efforts, and we want to have attention from others. We want to basically share feelings with other people. At business meetings, at other meetings, at work, outside of work. So, you have to do it professionally. So again, to recap, continuity, relevance, action, real-time action, and dialogue, real-time dialogue, are the first four. And then the fifth one is prioritization. You may have 5 items or 5 topics that you need to discuss in your business meeting. Chances are you may not get to all of them. We all know that's the reality, right? Well, your task then, as the host of the meeting, or as the moderator of the meeting, whether or not a formal or an informal moderator, becomes to at least get one thing accomplished. If you can get one decision, real-time action with real-time participation and dialogue completed in the course of the meeting, then your meeting members will be that much more likely to very quickly remember what it is that you guys talked about and relay that information appropriately to other people outside of your meeting, outside of your company. You gain much more relevance, higher reach with your meetings. I gave you that example where you have 20 minutes remaining and you just make an executive decision to concentrate on one item, just one item on your list for the meeting, and complete it live with the help of your team members. That's one way to prioritize. Because what that's going to do is, that's going to allow the meeting members to want to be present in your subsequent meetings. Or if it's just one meeting that you have, if there's some decision, whether or not it's positive or negative, they're going to be likely to consult you about other topics that may be unrelated. So it's the first step to a relationship. Once you have dialogue, you have true participation, and you have some kind of action that takes place live, real time. Remember these 5 characteristics. I hope you guys have some great, memorable, productive meetings ahead. Let me know what you guys think. Tim, All Out Coach. Have a great day.